Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as, "Uncle Bankrupts His Previous Employer." This post received 25,486 upvotes. Posted by Bleedy Butts, the post reads as follows. "Not sure if this is petty or pro or whatever. You be the judge. My uncle is an Indian doctor. In the 90s there was a massive doctor shortage in Australia, so the government gave him citizenship. Unfortunately, you still had to sit 3 expensive exams to work as a doctor in Australia. These exams cost thousands of dollars, only happened twice a year, had limited sitting spots, times and had arbitrary pass-fail marks. So many Indian doctors ended up becoming taxi drivers, small businessmen, etc. My uncle decided instead he would reapply and go through Australian medical school. Sure enough, being a doctor for 10+ years makes medical school easy, and my uncle was top of his class. He decided since he was already pushing 40+, had a family, he would apply to become a GP, family physician, instead of applying to be a surgeon like most of his teachers had suggested. At the time, many desperate foreign doctors were applying for GP residency. They would essentially get treated like crap. They would be forced to work unpaid overtime. They would not be given proper study time or leave to sit mandatory exams. They would pocket the meals, accommodation, study, leave allowances that you were supposed to be paid by the training college. They would roster you to work every Saturday, Sunday shift, and if you refused they would give you a bad review and your training would be jeopardized. This mostly happened to foreign doctors, as most of them would be in bad debt and highly desperate for any sort of work. When my uncle graduated, he applied for GP training in a practice that is located within an Indian ethnic enclave so that he would have access to religious food, schools, etc. for the kids. Sure enough, this practice engaged in all of the above fuckery. My uncle would work every single Saturday shift. During his dedicated, study time he would have to come into work. He got reprimanded for not overcharging patients in line with their framework. Worst of all, when my aunt was really sick and hospitalized, they wouldn't give him any time off to look after her and the kids. The owner of the clinic was a white GP who was openly racist against Indians, Asians and Aboriginal people, who were a large percentage of the clientele of this clinic. My uncle bided his 3 years, and as soon as his documentation came through making him a GP, he quit that instant. He went down to the local bank and got a loan to open up his own practice. All his old patients quickly moved with him to the new practice. The first year he struggled, but his practice quickly became known and word spread. Surprise! Surprise, foreign-trained doctors actually work well and care about their patients if you actually care about them and give them appropriate wages, living conditions. More patients and more doctors looked to work with my uncle. Within 2 years my uncle had a GP practice that had 4 doctors, 2 nurses, 2 trainees and a manager. His practice easily rivaled his original teachers. He then started 2 more GP practices with the money he was pulling in. These practices trapped his old teacher's clinic in a 2-kilometer triangle. He would advertise heavily and make sure he could take as much business from his old teacher as he could. Within 5 years his old teacher's practice went from hiring 6 doctors, 4 nurses and 6 trainees to just 1 doctor, his old teacher, and no one else. His old teacher tried to sell up his practice to other doctors, but no one would purchase it given how successful my uncle's 3 surrounding practices were. He then tried to sell it to my uncle, who refused to buy even at a ridiculously low sale price. Instead he waited for the bank to repossess his old teacher's clinic and then purchased it for a bit more money from the bank. My uncle then repurposed the building into his main offices from where he runs his other 3 practices. He made sure to redevelop his old boss's room into a staff toilets just as one final tribute to the human turd that was his old boss. Edit 1. Thanks for all the comments and the gold. I am happy my uncle has brought happiness, justice, plus or minus lady, boners to you all. He is such a generous guy in real life. I am sure he'd be really happy if he knew what Reddit even was. As for a follow-up, he didn't even expand any further apart from those 3 clinics. I am pretty sure the land value of the clinics is worth more than the doctor's business in them nowadays. Sorry if I didn't read your comment. There are so many discussions going on. For people asking if I had deleted it. I am not sure why, or if it is deleted as I can still see it. It was, is deleted or whatever. Thanks again everyone. See you all around. A comment from user Pandab0op says, "Your uncle sounds awesome. Good for him." This comment received 4406 upvotes. A comment from user wind_Soul says, "Hippocrates forgive me. For I'm about to do some harm on a man. Asterisk." This comment received 2661 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "Due to Reddit Inc.'s antisocial, hostile and erratic behavior, this account will be deleted on July 11, 2023. You can find me on https://latte.isnot.coffee/u/godless in the future." This comment received 4734 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butt says, "That's how I learned about the whole thing. I was visiting his offices with my cousins when I needed to drop the kids off at the pool. My uncle let me into his boss's old room. Very comfortable setting. 10 out of 10 would splash down again." This reply received 2832 upvotes. A comment from user FLLPPLNG says, "This is the Special Forces of Revenge. It's not just pro, it's best in class." This comment received 936 upvotes. A comment from user IKILL says, "This wasn't pro, this was perfect revenge. The long con. Not only did he achieve victory, your uncle helped others. The best revenge is served cold, and enjoyed with others." This comment received 511 upvotes. A comment from user Sekankanmanj says, "If this is not pro, nothing can be pro. Buying it from the bank did the trick for me." This comment received 1232 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butt says, "My uncle absolutely hated that guy and his attitude towards immigrants and indigenous peoples in general. Paying extra to not deal with that ass wipe would have been absolutely worth it." This reply received 641 upvotes. A comment from user Shalom RPH says, "Not sure if this is petty or pro or whatever. You be the judge. I'd say it's both in one. Taking the guy's business away from him. Pro, but entirely justified. Making his office into the toilets. Petty, but awesome. I think I like your uncle." This comment received 149 upvotes. A comment from user Mischiefmaker says, "That's almost beyond pro. Good for your uncle." This comment received 260 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "What's the female version of a justice boner? 'Cause I'm sporting one for sure." This comment received 236 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butt says, "I think you are having a successful litigation. Although I do like the Justice Juice suggestion. We really do need to workshop a term for the ladies." This reply received 150 upvotes. A comment from user Daniel2978 says, "Nothing like getting revenge just by being that much better. Also, what's religious food? Serious question, not trying to be a dick." This comment received 120 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butt says, "They are Muslim, so halal stuff. In the 90s there weren't that many HSPs and kebab vans around in Australia. Now they are everywhere, so we don't have to live in enclaves anymore." This reply received 170 upvotes. A comment from user DarwinMate says, "Good story. I have a rule of thumb. In a foreign country, never ever work with, for your people. They will try to fuck you hard. It makes no sense. You'd think they'd do the opposite and try to support each other in this foreign land, but they constantly lowball you. My brother is a plumber. He refuses to do jobs for people of similar heritage to our family. When he started his business, he would take any work, but he soon learned everyone who spoke our language would ask for a discount." This comment received 76 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butt says, "Good thing about medicine in Australia is that there is a set price called bulk billing, free to the patient but the government pays. You can't go any lower but you can always charge higher. This reply received 65 upvotes. A comment from user Tales of Douchebaggery says, all he did was persevere and succeed and that ruined his teacher's life. That's the good kind of revenge. This comment received 45 upvotes. A comment from user Kanyegisada says, I dunno, moving the bathroom into the boss's old office? I'm sorry. This story may be somewhat true but that's an embellishment. The cost to move a bathroom. Not only the water lines but the sewage lines and the vent pipe up through the roof. Way too expensive. No way that happened. Sorry. And since I'm fairly sure that's false, sorry. Just can't believe anything else. This comment received 41 upvotes. A reply from the original author Bleedy Butts says, they just knocked down a wall separating a tiny toilet and the boss's old room. All the plumbing is on the old site. The boss's side just has a safety shower thing plus a bench and wide space for wheelchairs. Believe whatever you want, my guy. I can assure you Albert Einstein didn't clap when the toilets were redone. This reply received 55 upvotes.